Oh, I've got my great friend Damon Bruce joining me. We're going to talk Warriors. Only 2 games remaining in the regular season. Are the Warriors destined for a repeat world championship? Is it going to end early in disappointment? We'll talk about that and so much more next. This is Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/lockedonnba and get on your way to being your best self. You can follow Damon Bruce. He's got his own YouTube channel, Damon Bruce Plus. Subscribe today. You can follow him on Twitter at Damon Bruce. You can follow me, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Twitter at Dog Surf Roadshow. The moment you called your YouTube channel Damon Bruce Plus, I just wanted to start talking. Damon Bruce is on
Absolutely.
the show. Damon, how are you?
Very French, very South Park. A lot of that. It's all going on at the same. Remember, Canada Plus. So it kind of started there. And Plus rhymes with Bruce. I mean, that's how far we've taken this. And we didn't bring it to a think tank. We just kind of made it up on day one. And I'm like, oh damn, I guess that's out of the bag now. We got to go with that.
It sticks. It flows. You don't forget it, right? That's one of the most important things. So let's start first things first, man. Steve Kerr gets you fired from 95.7 The Game.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, that's a joke.
Boy, he really didn't like that James Wiseman question after all, did he?
No. In all honesty, look, man, you and I, you've worked in radio longer than me. We both worked in the industry for a long time. The industry is losing money. I know you can't get that much into it, but is that a safe assumption for why you're no longer with the game? Because we're just too good.
Look at it this way. An accountant made the decision on me. The decision on me didn't come from anyone in San Francisco, anyone that actually works or knows radio. This was a pencil pusher pushing a pencil in my direction, and that's what happened. And I mean, just look at the world, Cyrus. The amount of talented, really qualified people who are getting laid off grows by the day.
Yeah.
It's sad, and it came from me. But luckily, I got some talent. And I'm handsome as hell. So we're going to go ahead and start an OnlyFans page. It's going to be horrific, but no, look, what's so funny is I remember the last time I was on with you, you were like, Damon, you are the station. And I was like, yeah, that's right, Cyrus. And like 3 days later, I was not the station.
I'm sorry, man. Well, you went on vacation and then you came right back and then it was pretty much done after that, correct?
Yeah.
That's what happened to me, by the way. When I left KNBR, I went to Mexico. I went
to Mexico too.
Yeah, and I came and then my move was I wanted to get out anyways, and so my move was I called in sick on the day back, so they had to wait a day to fire me. Or I don't know if I was fired, but whatever it was. Lee Hammer calls me in, and the rest is history. So the radio industry is a part of your past. You're the Damon Bruce Plus.
Hey, look, I'm so interested in this space, and I'm having so much fun here that I really want to invest like a year into this to see where it goes before I go retreating to any sort of safe ground or familiar territory. I'm just having an awful lot of fun, and
absolutely,
and the response early on has been phenomenal. It's been overwhelming. So I think we're onto a little something here, and the amount of love that is been thrown out to me by the San Francisco media and the podcast world and the YouTube world, which you obviously are a huge part of. It's meant an awful lot. So thanks, pal. Always good to see you.
Yes.
And look at it this way. I have a feeling that I'm going to be around an awful lot longer than the Warriors might be around this postseason unless they start playing some defense. It's just that simple. I mean,
let's get into that in just a moment, because first, before we get into that, in the San Francisco Bay Area, there's a place called Ike's, which makes phenomenal sandwiches. You've had your own sandwich on that menu board for I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
And I've ordered it. So, dude, you're not going anywhere. You are a legend, sir. You are a staple in the Bay Area now. And Damon Bruce Plus. Is that the best way to promote it for people to find your YouTube channel?
Tell you, here's the thing. people might start putting in like Damon Bruce Ploos or PLU with umlauts. So yes, we say Damon Bruce Plus, and then once you get introduced, once you become part of the initiated, you understand it's actually pronounced plus. So we'll hammer that out in etiquette lessons a little bit later.
I absolutely love it, man. I cannot wait to regularly consume your content there, because now it's unfiltered. That's night and day different, man. Speaking of unfiltered content, let's be unfiltered when it comes to the Golden State Warriors. They are such a Jekyll and Hyde act, man, and especially when it comes to them following a road game versus a home game. Every time they go on the road, it's doomsday. It's this team isn't going anywhere. They come home. They've won 33 home games this year, 2 more than last year, I believe. So when they're at home, they look like their old selves. When they're on the road, they look like trash.
Their home and road splits are nothing short of as dramatic as might be NBA champions, might be picking in the lottery.
Yes.
Like that is their home and road splits. They're as good as NBA basketball gets, and they're as bad as NBA basketball gets. And there's a reason why fans are a little nuts and schizophrenic about this season.
Yeah.
And that's because this team hasn't for a moment given you 2 nights of data points that actually like measured up against each other. It's nuts. It's not, and you would think that a team with that much veteran presence and leadership and know-how would be eventually able to circle the wagons and just get back to who they are. But it's been an uphill climb the entire way. What made it so slippery is something that, we'll be doing the autopsy on, I'm sure, as the season is over. And you're going to hear everything from, well, Steve doesn't have the locker room's attention anymore, to these guys are getting old and they're slowing down, and that's just the life cycle of an athlete, all the way to the NBA is officially caught up to what the Warriors' secret sauce used to be. And I think that there's a little truth coming from all of those directions. And having said all that, they could repeat as NBA champions. Like, I'm still not holding that past them either, especially with Wiggins apparently on the horizon.
Absolutely incredible. What is your theory, man? Because even like the people that you would consider to be the brightest minds in basketball, no one can give a straight answer or a clear answer because no one really knows. All you can do is theorize. What is your theory on the Golden State Warriors being this bad of a road team?
I can't explain it.
Yeah,
I just don't know it because they have all the ingredients that make you say, well, that team's going to perform well on the road. They've got all the experience. They're not going to be intimidated by any environment or any crowd that they're going to face.
Right.
What makes them, I think, as vulnerable as you can be on the road is because a defense that isn't very good at home gets even worse on the road. And maybe that's a reflection of teams playing more comfortable on their own home courts. So it's the same defense. It just looks worse on the road.
Yeah.
We saw a level of defense against the Oklahoma City Thunder on just Tuesday night that at the very end of the game was good enough to win, and for the first 3 quarters was bad enough to make you think they might even miss the play-in game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they gave up 79 first half points in what was essentially a must-have-it game. And do you watch Succession on HBO?
Oh, love that. Of course. Love that.
So I don't want to give away any spoilers, but if you haven't watched last Sunday's episode by now, you're probably not into it. But when you got Logan Roy talking to his kids and he's like, "You're not serious people." That's the way I'm looking at the Warriors. Like, are you seriously going to wait until game number 82 to take 4 quarters of basketball seriously? We've been waiting and waiting and waiting for that moment where they're just, here they are. The Warriors have officially arrived. And they still get slow starts. How do you start slow in a must-have at home game, final game of the year? They got off to a slow start. It's all they do. It's who they are.
Well, part of that leads to the next question I want to ask you. Actually, I'll ask the question and we'll save the answer for when we come back, which is, what, in your opinion, what was going through Kerr's mind with that starting lineup? He addressed it after the game. He said he wanted to spice things up because the team had been starting really slow. But Anthony Lamb in the starting lineup, I would love to hear your why to that when we come back. I got to give some love first to eBay Motors. This is a brand new sponsor. For a championship team, and the Golden State Warriors are your defending world champions, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit, or your money back. That's a guarantee, folks, because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on eBay Motors.com. Again, that's eBay Motors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
That's a live read.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, finish your thought. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to have to interrupt you there with the...
No, I'm saying that's a hell of a live read. There's a man with a radio background right there. He hit all the talking points. He got the sponsor in there 3 different times. You got to at least drop that sponsor name 3 times in the 60-second read. I know the playbook. You nailed it. Nice job.
Thank you, sir. And you can follow Damon Bruce on Twitter at Damon Bruce and subscribe to his YouTube channel, Damon Bruce Plus, a.k.a. Plus. And we'll figure out the correct tagline for that. Why was Anthony Lamb in the starting lineup last night? I'm thankful Kerr had made the adjustment at the half. We didn't see him in the second half except for garbage time. What was going through his head? Your thoughts?
I think that, it's happening at the bet. Kuminga was waiting to play, right? I think he realizes that he almost has to hide Anthony Lamb among the starting 5 when his bench is as short as it got last night. Like, that's what I want to tell myself. I don't really understand it either. Like, there's a lot from last night's game that makes me go, well, why did that happen all year long? Like, did Moses Moody not make the case that he should have been a lot more involved? I mean, Moses Moody has missed 25 games on, like, coach DNPs. Dude, Why? Why? I mean, look at how good he was. Look at the amount of energy he brought to that court. Patrick Baldwin is only going to be used as like a human victory cigar or a white flag. I mean, so I don't think we can count on him for a single important minute the rest of the way. Anthony Lamb probably had to go because this team decided to take a roster spot and just kill it with Andre Iguodala's presence all year long.
Crazy.
And a lot of the choices that they made, Cyrus, when you go back to the timeline to see why they made those choices, as angry as a lot of people might be at them now, I think in the moment the choices were defensible and they made sense in the moment. Now, they didn't bear the fruit that they hoped those choices would, but they're defendable in the moment. These rosters that we're seeing, and the fact that for a fact that you were a man short in every single game you played this year because you gave a roster spot to Andre Iguodala.
Correct.
And look, I got a lot of respect for Andre Iguodala. He should have been hired as an assistant coach. He should have been given a spot on the bench or behind the bench, or if he wants to still be around, or if he just wants to play golf with Steph, like whatever. like bring him around, let him be Steph's caddy. But he wasted a valuable roster spot which could have been used on a player to help them climb better than 4 games above 500 at any one point in time this year. Have they been 5 games over 500 at any point in time this year? I don't think they have.
I don't think so. I think 4 might be the max.
Yeah, and they're sitting at it right now. So it's young player development is going to be re-examined in the offseason, and some of the choices, now that we know what kind of came out of them, will be extra scrutinized. Like, I understand why they did it all in real time, but it hasn't worked out in so many instances. And as I say that, I want to also remind everyone this team could still win an NBA championship by lighting the world on fire and shocking us all. It would clearly, like, if you thought last year's championship came out of nowhere, if this year's championship, if they actually win it this year, it's the hardest to see coming title in the history of Bay Area sports.
Well,
Even harder to see than the very first Warrior championship. So it would be extraordinary if they did it. I wouldn't put $1 on it in a Vegas casino that they will. But I also won't be betting against them either. It's just a full layoff for me because I don't, I've been watching for 80 games and I still don't know what the hell it is I'm looking at.
Yeah, well, just for the record, I was not surprised last year. From August 2021 on, I was predicting the Warriors were going to win the title last year. I saw it. To me, it was apparent just based on the roster construction and the fact that this was a team loaded with experienced players who have world championship experience, a variable I value tremendously high. I agree with this year. If they pull it off, man, that tip of the cap, because I can't say with confidence they're going to repeat. I don't know if anyone can. Let me know what you think about this. This has been my ire this whole year, is that I saw when the roster was revamped, right? They let go of Damian Lee. They let go of Juan Toscano-Anderson. And I saw the vision that Bob Myers and maybe Joe Lacob had. I don't know if those two are exactly simpatico or not, but the vision was, to me, clear and sensical, and I loved it, which was you're going to play your young players a lot. They're going to get the minutes off the bench. They're going to develop during the regular season. So by the time the postseason comes, you not only have your starting five, which is exceptional, but you also have 3 young players who are 20 and 21 who are amazingly going to be ready to contribute.
Right, who got some seasoning.
Exactly. And you saw it work with Kuminga, right? Kuminga got the reps, and he's looking ready for the postseason. I wish they did the same thing with Moses Moody. But Steve Kerr clearly did not subscribe to that vision. Like, it took, I think, all of a week for him to say, nah, I actually like these two-way players better. I'm not going to play the young guys. We saw Wiseman leave. And that was the disconnect. And I was not simpatico with Kerr's vision, if you can call it vision. I just didn't understand what Kerr's doing. I just don't know if his strength is developing youngsters. Is that fair? Is that how you saw it as well? Your thoughts?
I think it's totally fair because, most teams who have lottery pick players use the regular season to figure out what kind of player they've got. And a lot of these guys just remained a mystery. And what was weird always almost is when they would hit the court, you'd usually walk away saying, well, there's something there. Is it perfect? Is it absolutely the most well-rounded, ready-to-go NBA player I've ever seen? No, but everyone had a little something to them, and you'd think, well, geez, 15 minutes tonight might mean 18 minutes tomorrow night. And 15 minutes tonight usually translated into 4 straight coach DNPs afterwards. And it's just a really odd way to go about developing young talent when we know that routine and confidence are going to be 2 things that unlock any one young player. And it felt like any confidence they might have acquired was stripped of them by their own team, and any routine that they might have developed got quickly scuttled by, oh yeah, you're playing tonight, but then we're not even going to look at you for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's really, really weird. It's really, really weird the way that they went about it. And they've had mixed results. We've seen Kuminga flourish, and we saw, a guy like James Wiseman, again, why James Wiseman couldn't do for the Warriors what he is doing for the Pistons, I really don't understand that.
No, neither. I don't either.
I don't understand that.
I don't either.
And, I wasn't the one. Well, I did say, first of all, James Wiseman, he does have stone hands, and there's a lot to improve. But he's also like 9 points, 9 rebounds a night with the Detroit Pistons. And if you say, well, the Detroit Pistons just kind of suck, so that means he can get 9 rebounds. Well, if you can get 9 rebounds for Detroit, you could have gotten 9 rebounds for the Warriors too. Like a missed shot is a missed shot is a missed shot. Go get it. And I agree. I just don't understand. Well, he didn't fit well with Curry and everyone and everything. Well, fucking coach him.
Make it work.
Make it work.
Like,
just be like, here's the deal. You're going to block shots at the rim. You're going to dunk. Anything else, don't do it.
Exactly. And not to mention, there was a pivotal game this year on Christmas Day where Wiseman, I think, played 8 minutes, right? And all he did was grab 5 rebounds in 8 minutes. That's fantastic. Played good defense. The Warriors won that game, and then we never saw Wiseman again. I never understood it. But it is what it is. He's gone. What are you going to do? AC writes, Damon, what's your answer to this? Do you think Kerr gets embarrassed when Moody plays well? And I think what he's inferring is Kerr's ego that big where he's going to make decisions that might hurt the team that just makes him look better?
No, I don't think there's any narcissist in Steve Kerr that is a my way or the highway type of guy. I don't think he cares where the good player, the good idea, the successful moment comes from, as long as he and the team gets the benefit from it. I don't think that there's any sort of, tomfoolery to that level of like, it wasn't his idea, so he'd rather the team be sabotaged. I don't think that that's going on at all.
That's a relief. Okay, that's good. That's good to hear because you've interviewed him all season. You know him better than I. I've only interviewed him
here's the
once.
Thing. Steve's an awesome guy. He's a great guy.
Agreed.
All coaches, I don't care who you are, all coaches who have spent an awful lot of time around the same players start getting tuned out.
That's fair.
All coaches. Steve doesn't have some magical fairy dust that eliminates him from that truth. And I'm wondering how much tuning out of what Steve's asks were, what Steve's demands were, what Steve's game-by-game specific game plan might have been. It didn't seem like this team spent any portion of the entire year deciding to be detail-oriented.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not for a minute. And it is, here's the thing. Every single team in the NBA has we're scoring 110 points tonight talent. The worst team in the NBA is dropping 110. The best team in the NBA is dropping 110. How do you stop 5 points and score 10 more? That's the detail. We're talking about the 5 possessions that you didn't piss away because you were playing sloppy.
Yep.
And I know that a level of sloppy play has always been baked into the Warriors formula, but was always baked into the Warriors formula was that they were that much better than everyone, that they could play a little bit more loose, carefree basketball and get away with murder because, oh, by the way, Kevin Durant, Clay, and Steph each got 35 for you tonight, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it.
Right.
That's not who they are anymore. And when you're not this roll the ball out and good luck, everybody, level of team, now you got to start cleaning up the mistakes.
Yep.
This team never cleaned up the mistakes, not for a minute, all year long.
And that's where Mike Brown's absence, I think, was felt.
Without a doubt, especially all the defensive details which were ignored.
Yeah, and Mike Brown, for people that don't know, is such a detail-oriented individual, and they really lost that. And Rich Dub, I agree with you with this comment here. Rich Dub writes, tough love doesn't translate in this new generation. Look, I'm in my 10th year as a college professor. Could not agree more. When I started, that's how I grew up, right? With people teaching me, my bosses. I mean, our mutual boss, Bob Agnew, he was just a yeller and screamer. And that's how it was.
I had shit thrown at me. I had a magazine thrown at me.
And I totally believe it. And it makes, to me, no surprise hearing that. But
right. By the way, it did not scar me. It did not, I was like, oh, all right. Magazine thrower. All right, that's cool.
That's how it was. And times have changed, and that doesn't work now. And So when we come back, though, Steve Kerr, who you've interviewed again a lot this year, was interviewed today, I believe, by our friend Larry Kruger, who's filling in your old slot. And he revealed something fascinating about Andrew Wiggins. We'll touch on that and so much more after I give some love to FanDuel. Damon, it pains me that we can't play with FanDuel here in California. I want to play FanDuel so bad. You travel a lot. Have you tried FanDuel in any of the other states you've been to?
No, I don't gamble on sports because I think I know just enough to be officially dangerous to myself.
Fair enough.
If I got to, you don't get high off your own supply. You know what I mean?
I do, absolutely. Well, FanDuel is an official sponsor of the Locked On Podcast Network. The NBA playoffs are almost here. Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. One final segment with Damon Bruce, who has his own YouTube channel now, Damon Bruce Plus, a.k.a. Damon Bruce Plus.
The Plus.
The Plus. Damon.
It's like the Ocho.
And you can follow Damon Bruce on Twitter at Damon Bruce. Otto writes, and I want to dive into the playoff scenarios because these are fascinating. He writes, are you guys able to discuss how the Warriors, Clippers, and Lakers all want the 6th seed? Absolutely.
Yeah.
The 6th seed is obviously what everyone wants because 5 means Phoenix and possibly Denver. 6 means Sacramento and possibly Memphis. That is a path I can see the Warriors cruising through. And tonight's game is huge between the Lakers and Clippers. I'm seeing some reports that the Lakers might be sitting Anthony Davis and LeBron James, which is feeding a lot of conspiracy theories that they don't want the 5 seed. Steve Kerr, by the way, today said that Andrew Wiggins will not play in the final 2 regular season games, which adds so much importance to the Warriors skipping that play-in.
I don't understand.
It means a whole week off.
But why?
Why what? Is Wiggins not playing?
Yeah.
Great question.
Like if he plays basketball Friday night, does he die? Like
No.
what are his arms and legs gonna fall off? And
It's a great question.
And I don't understand. Like the guy is a professional athlete who apparently has been working out and staying in shape the entire time he has been away from the team. Don't tell me he hasn't been rested. He just missed the last 23 games. Like I just don't understand. They're not asking him to run a marathon all by himself. Why not give him 15 minutes?
Right.
Start him, slow play him, load management him within the game.
That is weird.
But why not just play him?
That is
I don't
weird.
understand.
Yeah,
I just don't understand. I don't understand it. I just that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I'm trying to see if there's if there's anyone documented a specific reason for it, but no. All I'm saying is
Look, I don't believe any documented reasons about Andrew Wiggins. Okay? I mean, I'm just going to be straight up with you. So here's the deal. If it really were his dad was in poor health, why not just say I have to be at my dad's bedside? He's in poor health. Who's going to argue with that? Who's going to say, why leave the world to speculate why you're away when why you were away, if that's why you were away, is the single most relatable thing to any other human being in the world. My parent needed me. Who's more important? My team or my parents?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. The Warriors have handled certain things this year, I don't think, in the best way. The Wiggins case you just mentioned, absolutely right. Why not be transparent? I know Wiggins is very private, but what's the big deal in just saying his dad's sick, right? And he needs to tend to that. Earlier, obviously the Draymond punch. I don't think that was handled well either. Anthony Lamb and just bringing him on despite these rape allegations. I don't think that's handled well. There's been a lot of stuff going on this year. This whole season's just been a bizarre cluster F-bomb. I'm with you. Steve Kerr said in the interview that, and quote, Andrew Wiggins is not going to play in these final 2 games of the regular season. He'll continue to work and ramp up pretty quickly. He added, full court 5-on-5, he looked good. He still has to stack a number of days like this before he's ready to go out and play in an NBA game. Health-wise, we can't put him in a bad spot.
He wouldn't be in a bad spot. It's a basketball game.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a basketball game. The guy's a professional basketball player. He knows how to play basketball. It's not like he has to relearn the game or the chemistry with his. I mean, come on.
I'm with you. And I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you. No, I'm with you 100%.
Sorry. I mean, to me, I don't think it's a ridiculous concept that the healthy player plays.
I agree.
So maybe you're not playing him for 40 minutes because he's not ready for that yet, but you're telling me that the choice is until he can play 40 minutes, it has to be 0?
Yeah, I don't get it.
That doesn't make any sense at all unless, the Warriors are really like, yeah, we want the 6. So the last thing we want to do is win these 2 games, and we'll hopefully let it all come out in the wash. And the road games anyway, so they probably weren't winning them with Wiggins anyway. I don't know. It's just really, really weird, man.
This whole season has been weird. It's been nonsensical to say the least. And so Wiggins will not play in Friday's road game in Sacramento or Sunday's road game in Portland, apparently, according to Steve Kerr. I don't know how big of a difference it's going to make. I don't know how much of an impact Wiggins would have. But Damon, in your opinion, how much of an impact will it be for the Warriors in terms of whether or not they make the play-in? Because if they're forced to enter the play-in, you're playing at least 2 extra games. You're not getting that week off. Your thoughts on those 2 scenarios, the 6 seed versus, say, the 7 seed?
Any sort of concept of postseason success begins with them missing that play-in tournament. I really believe that.
I agree.
I just don't think that this team needs extra games on its bodies, on its aging bodies. And again, Andrew Wiggins is 27, right? I mean, this is not a 30. 28.
Just turned 28, yeah.
Dude, 28 years old means that guy should be able to polish off a bottle of whiskey and play.
Agreed.
I mean, like, I don't understand why he's not ready to go. I don't understand it. And if he's not ready to go on Friday, you're telling me that here we're talking right now on Wednesday afternoon. So we're talking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He can't get ready in 4 days to play 20 minutes of a game that he's been playing his entire life.
Yeah, it is
I
weird.
don't get it.
I'm with you. And I'm 100% with you, especially since they came out and said he's been conditioning, he's been working out. He looked a little skinnier, but I don't see how that could translate to him increasing his likelihood of getting injured. I'm with you. I don't
get him a rack of ribs and just let's go. He's skinny now. Okay, well, eat. What do we
Eat
want?
some Built Bars. Eat some Built Bars, damn it. How easy is it to gain weight, right? I mean, that's got to be one of the easiest things on the planet.
Look at me.
Nice Metallica shirt, by the way, man.
Thank you. Yeah, riding the lightning.
Anyway, so we're wrapping things up here. Damon, I can't thank you. Oh my God, it's already late. It's been 30 minutes. All right, you got to go. You got a family. Promote away, dude. You got the YouTube channel, Damon Bruce Plus.
Please, look, Ike, you have a great following. You have an awful lot of Warriors fans in the palm of your hand. And if any one of them wanted to come on over and subscribe to Damon Bruce Plus, it would mean an awful lot to me. You're going to find that I'm talking about this team on a near daily basis. If you do that, we're going to be covering the NBA playoffs, I believe, for AMP on Amazon. So there's going to be a podcast that is following, and all that stuff is coming out soon. But starting with subscribing to Damon Bruce Plus is all I could ask of anyone who's watching or listening right now, and it would mean an awful lot to me and the kids that I have to go feed upstairs.
And I'm coming on a show anytime you want me.
I will do it real soon. I will do it really, really soon. I think I'm joining Kruger tonight, little late night Larry over on the Krug show.
Love it.
A little bit later on tonight after the kids are all in bed and the wife is like, she doesn't want to hear another word, so I'm just going to come on down and talk to Larry. But it was always good to talk to you, brother. You know how much I like you. And maybe someday, because you were asking me this all year, like, hey, I want to meet you and go to a Warrior game. Maybe I can meet you and go to a Warrior game someday here, Cyrus.
Let's do it, man. We'll hit up Raymond, and the playoffs are here, man. Well, let's hope it's not a play-in game, but it's an actual playoff game we go to. But yeah, let's do that soon, man. Let's hang out for sure.
Great to talk to you, pal.
And likewise, and congrats again on the channel. Let's get those numbers up for subscriptions. Damon Bruce Plus, a.k.a. Damon Bruce Plus, is where you find it on YouTube. And you can follow Damon Bruce on Twitter at Damon Bruce. Thank you, everyone. Damon, thank you, sir. Love you, man.
Thank you, pal.